Administration calling it cowardly in its handling of the Ukraine crisis. He joins us. Nice to see you, sir.
Thank you, Greta.
Okay, cowardly why?
It's cowardly to not give these people weapons with which to defend themselves. I'm not positive that this wouldn't have happened, but I think if the Ukrainians had been giving what they were begging for, rather than MREs. Now, I'm not making this up. They finally decided to give them MREs, but then they didn't want to fly them in, so they leased German trucks to truck them in. Now, I'm not making that up. And so, meanwhile, we see these weapons pouring across the border from Russia into eastern Ukraine. We won't give them any defensive weapons. They may have been able to succeed in moving those, quote, rebels, as they are called, out of Ukraine, and maybe this wouldn't have happened.
What's the backoff of President Obama? Why wouldn't he want to do that?
They didn't want to, what I was told, they didn't want to provoke Vladimir Putin. I mean, the misreading of Vladimir Putin is the most amazing thing to me, that it's just boggles the mind. And when I say it's cowardly, I think it's cowardly not to help people who are begging for our help to eject people who are invading their country, have already dismembered their country by taking Crimea and are literally invading their country. And these people that are in the country are, some of them are, quote, Russian-speaking Ukrainians, but a hell of a lot of them are just Russians who have come in at the behest of Vladimir Putin to create unrest. If you continue to have that part of Ukraine in turmoil, their economy cannot recover. That's where the major industry is.
How do you stop Putin at this point?
I think you slap sanctions, sector sanctions on, send the weapons to these people, move, reinvigorate our missile systems in Czech Republic and Poland, move NATO troops into, at least temporarily, into areas that are more surrounding this area of the world where there's such unrest, and condemn our so-called European friends. Do you really think that the French are going to revoke the sale of those 2 helicopter carriers to the Russians, who have openly said they could have gotten the Georgia operation done in 45 minutes with those carriers? The Europeans are not going to do anything until they are energy independent. Senator Hoeven, Senator Barrasso, and I put forward a proposal that within 3 years we could get natural gas from Fargo, North Dakota, to Europe, and that would change the whole scenario. Until they're energy independent, the Europeans aren't going to do a damn thing.
Well, even with his own party, he has people objecting. Senator Feinstein objecting to him and his fundraising. At least that's the way I read this. This is Senator Feinstein.
I'm not going to tell the president what to do, but I think the world would very much respect his increased attention on this matter. And I think there ought to be increased attention.
Well, he was out in California. She ought to be glad of that. But look,
well, do you know what he's out in California? You know what he said at a fundraiser today? He says, he was talking, he said, I would love nothing more than a loyal and rational opposition, but that's not what we have right now. So essentially he's saying the GOP is not loyal and is irrational.
The self-pity that he continues to exhibit is really kind of sad, really. You know, I can't work with him and all that. When's the last time he really called leaders of both parties together over at the White House, say, for a dinner, a social event, you know, that Reagan was best at, Clinton did, Bush
Why
did.
Isn't he?
I cannot explain it except to say that he does not have this desire to have social interface with people and sit down and try to work things out. Right now we've got Ukraine, we've got the border,
Israel.
We've got Israel, we've got Iraq, we've got more problems, more crises than I have ever seen, both foreign and domestic. I said I've never seen more turmoil, and of course, everybody says, I'm talking about turmoil in the world. I've never seen more.
Well, you might want to hear my off the record at the end of the show tonight. I know you got a busy schedule, but you might want to hear what I have to say about that, and I do have something. Anyway, Senator, nice to see you, sir.
Thank you.
And news tonight that a month ago, Ukraine had asked